While the Trump administration wages war against clean energy, it is now vowing to lease millions of acres of public lands at a discount and spend hundreds of millions of dollars to prop up the most polluting source of electricity, coal. This comes as the administration has restricted new solar and wind farms on federal lands and decried subsidies provided to these two renewable energy sources. The new policies announced Monday include giving $625 million to utilities to extend the life of aging coal-fired power plants. Such facilities would likely otherwise close because of the availability of cheaper energy sources. The coordinated actions from the Department of Interior, Energy, and the Environmental Protection Agency would seek to open as much as 13.1 million acres of federal land to coal mining at reduced royalty rates. In addition, the EPA would ease regulations on water and air pollution to allow for the extension of coal power plants' lifetimes. So one thing to me that stands out of all of that paragraph the most is reduced royalty rates, right? Like, this to me signals that this isn't so much about an ideological difference. You know, we think climate change is a hoax and that we don't care about pollution, you know, and we're going to allow you all to do that to the maximum extent, right? It's not about that, right? Maybe in part it's about that, but it's at least to some part, if not the biggest part, about enriching his homies, right? Reduced royalty rates. The idea that like you would think that if like they care, and also at the same time they're pretending like there's a budget crisis, right? Or that like we spend too much money as the government, or they pretend like they're fiscal conservatives, right? Like you can't at the same time be like, oh, we don't think climate change is a problem, and we're going to open up more of these lands to coal mining so that we can increase our energy grid capacity via coal plants. You wouldn't want to reduce their royalty rates because that's like there's no good faith reason to want to reduce their royalty rates like that, other than you are actively trying to facilitate these kind of things. And why would you want to try and facilitate these kind of things? Well, it's because your homeboys stand to make a lot of money if they do. Currently, coal provides about 16% of the United States electricity, a share that has fallen steeply in recent years as the cost of natural gas, wind, and solar energy has come down, and anti-pollution regulations have helped to convince utilities to close coal power plants. Coal mining has also fallen out of favor in recent decades as demand for the fuel has declined. Coal is the energy source that provides the most global warming pollution, and its decline in the U.S. has been helping to reduce the nation's emissions. Environmental groups denounced the new moves as a waste of money, a threat to public health, and a step backwards in the fight against human-caused global warming. Expanding mining and spending taxpayer money on burning coal while rolling back vital protections will only exacerbate the deadly pollution and rising electricity bills that communities are facing across the country, said Jill Tauber of Earth Justice in a statement. Clean energy and other climate solutions are driving significant growth in our economy, but this administration is choosing to throw its weight behind fossil fuel industries and stymie progress. The Trump administration's attempt to ban clean energy and prop up dirty and costly coal will not only cause costs to keep going up, but will also risk the health of our communities and threaten public lands that belong to all of us, said Matthew Davis of the League of Conservation Voters in a statement. The Trump administration, however, sees coal as a reliable source of base load power at a time when such energy sources are at a premium given rising electricity demands amid the artificial intelligence boom. The White House is prioritizing such energy sources, be it coal or nuclear power plants, over the cheapest sources of electricity today, which are wind and solar. I would think that I'm seeing he says they're prioritizing, be it coal or nuclear, right? I don't see so much prioritization of the nuclear, right? And I think it's for cynical reasons, right? I think they're more interested and have put much more effort into facilitating coal because the timetables for coal and nuclear are much different, right? For a coal-fired power plant, the time between investment necessary and the plant reaching profitability is far shorter of a time period than it is for nuclear power plants, right? Nuclear power plants are notoriously extremely expensive to like build and implement, but then you don't actually see the benefits of like a profitable cost equation or whatever with regards to the energy it produces and its upfront fixed cost. You don't see that for like 10 plus years, right? When for coal power plants, it's like only a couple of years. So I think maybe it's a little bit like they know that with coal plants, they could potentially see like an increase in the energy grid and reduction of energy costs, all within the scope of this Trump administration. But if they do it, if they prioritize nuclear, they aren't going to see the positive impacts during this administration, right? It's going to be one or two administrations later, and Trump wants, they want to get as much, they want to be able to take as, they want the win, basically. They want the short-term win over the better long-term win. Beautiful clean coal will be essential to powering America's reindustrialization and winning the AI race, Energy Secretary Chris Wright said in a statement. These funds will help keep our nation's coal plants operating and will be vital to keeping electricity prices low and the lights on without interruption. It just seems so like brazenly corrupt to me that they're wanting to do this at the exact same time that they're like cynically cutting all of these different, a whole bunch of funding for various types of green energy programs, right? To me, it just screams they're picking winners and losers, right? They are, and like I understand with a piece of legislation, in theory, there's winners and there's always going to be winners and losers, right? But this feels like they are explicitly choosing the legislation based on who those winners and who those losers are going to be, not like, oh, this is a good piece of legislation, let's implement it. And as a result, these guys will be benefit and these guys will have a negative consequence or whatever. They're working back. They're saying, no, they're working at it from the opposite direction, right? They're saying, okay, how can we help these guys and hurt these guys at the same time? Well, we implement this kind of policy, not we implement this kind of policy and it will affect these people in this kind of way. This is obviously the exact opposite thing that we should be doing. And the idea that they're going to do it all at reduced royalty rates even further supports the idea that this was just to enrich their homeboys. This isn't about like increasing the energy grid, or there's no like good faith equation, argument, reasoning, logic going on behind all of this, right? It's really just like, there's coal out there to be mined and there's money to be made. And the only thing stopping us is that damn federal government. And then I'm good friends with my boy Trump over there, so he's going to make it happen. I'm going to make a ton of money. Yeehaw! Yeehaw. Yeehaw.